Hey guys, I guess that this video is mostly about spiritual progress, if that is a possible term. Just a lot of descriptions between people I know about our own spiritual paths, and I'm not just talking about how well you're meditating or praying or anything of that sort. It's more of observations about I guess subtle aspects of our own evolution and development. Primarily that I find, at least in my own development, less need to associate with anything in particular or specifically. Um, Sort of like a meandering stream, just kind of floating around. I mean, sure, I can get hooked on particular things for a moment, but I find it's very important in spiritual practice, to some degree, for us not to become too attached to anything in particular during our own development. We need to go through stages for sure. We need to go through points where we take in something 200%, whether it's a particular teacher, a particular philosophy. But I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, it's in spiritual development. I mean, you begin to open yourself up to so many different energies. It's hard to remain conceptual, and then it becomes more of a start listening to other aspects of yourself, Start developing other aspects. Let go of the mind's ability to rationalize things as much. Let that go. It's okay to be smart, but why, at a certain point, there's no desire to show it anymore. It's like, and it's not even just knowing that, oh, I'm smart, It's not even knowing, like, oh, I know a lot of this stuff. I don't need to study different paths and all that. There comes a certain point where you need to go back into yourself and let some things go. And I find, like, from a lot of people I've talked to, spiritual development is it's almost like the growth of a flower, a garden. It's like you go through particular stages. You have to let things go, and growth is not always easy. Sometimes it's very painful for us. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's very important to be permeable, to be dynamic in your own development, because if you're not, you can get too attached to one thing or another, whether it's learning about new thoughts or ideas or not, or just getting infatuated with one particular one. Um, and I think you can apply this to integral science, which basically describes you need to focus on something at a particular time. We have different bodies, so to speak. We have the physical body, the mental body, the subtle body, and these are all different aspects of who we are. The subtle body is more of the energy body, related to the soul, spiritual energy. They all grow at the same time, they all are cultivated at the same time, but to a certain degree, the more subtle energies have their focus at a particular part of our development, whether through symbols, through chakra meditation, things like that, visualization. And then they have an intense period where, and this is in many even Buddhist practices, where first you focus on form, and then you just abide in formlessness. And there's a lot of subtle things that begin to happen with the body, different changes and shifts in energy shifts, where the body actually becomes more, well, the soul shifts, and then the body has to catch up, so it can be painful. Or perhaps it's not so painful. Perhaps you go through moments of bliss, or you feel like you're dying, perhaps. I mean, there are all these physical, spiritual, mental correlations that are always happening. It's a very dynamic process. So, I mean, it's a very holistic point of view of spiritual development. It's very inclusive, and you need to cover all aspects in order to truly be able to grow, or else something will stunt your growth, or you won't be able to get past something. It'll come up eventually as a block, and you'll eventually have to grow through it. So yeah, spiritual development is a holistic process, an integral process of every aspect of us. If you want to call it the physical body, the subtle body, or whatever, you can. If you have an even more simple definition of it, of just being the body and seeing all those as one, then that's fine too. Because, I mean, that's just part of who we are. It's a whole process, really. So yeah, spiritual development is integral, and you can call it, you can make all these definitions, or you don't have to. It's the same process. These definitions may help you, they may hinder you. It is the same process. No matter what we think of it conceptually, there comes a point where we have to begin to actually get to the stuff directly. I mean, it becomes that, to the point where concepts are one thing, and then actions, even at the subtle body level, healing, feeling aspects of the self, letting go of attachments, letting go of burdens. These things are active, dynamic, living processes that have to happen in the same way we breathe in and out. It can't just be conceptually figured out, you know. So yeah, we need to think, but we also need to not think and to do. And then we also need to not do, just remain still and be. And these are all part of spirituality. So, I think I'm going to end at this point and go to bed and meditate and relax. And yeah, so just keep these in mind. Make sure to keep things simple for yourself. Don't work yourself up, because in my experience, it's painful to work yourself up. You need to relax. So yeah, okay, thanks for listening.